I did have something written down also in the news world, which we used to have like a recurring news segment on this podcast that we haven't done in forever, but I wanted to get you guys' takes on Conan O'Brien hosting the Oscars. This is somewhat related to Jay Leno. Jay Leno hosting the Oscars would have been slightly better, I think, especially with his busted up face.
Yeah.
He's Jay's gone a little downhill recently.
The brutalist. The only thing brutal about that is the runtime.
Man, that could have been great. That what we would have gotten.
Conan.
Conclave, more like concave, like my faith.
So fucking stupid.
I do feel like we are probably like four of the only people alive who are just like the Oscars can't get Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. They can only get Conan O'Brien, and we're like, fuck yeah, let's go.
It's so good.
It's so much better.
It's such an inspired choice that I have to wonder how could it go wrong, because it was like when they announced that Steven Soderbergh was directing the 2021 Oscars, and I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. And then it was like the worst thing ever. So I can only imagine.
It was all about like hard labor. That was the theme of the night.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah. And by the way, Nomadland, what best picture? Like,
and,
it's just, like,
and also Anthony Hopkins.
Year, bro.
Anthony Hopkins won, and he's not here. Okay, good night.
By the way, Chadwick Boseman died. Like, it's like,
and also he loses.
Yeah, and he lost. All right,
he lost when he's alive. He's gonna lose when he's dead.
It's so ridiculous. That was like the worst Oscars I've ever sat through.
So yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Because the question has always been like, why would most people, like, why would you say yes to it when there's not much to gain? Conan actually does have something to gain because he doesn't have a TV show anymore. He's coasting off a podcast. So
hey, maybe that means we're closer to hosting the Oscars than ever.
You know, like how liquid of a job that is hosting a podcast.
Yeah,
that's
the revenue stream. It's incalculable.
I mean, speaking as someone who is on a retirement fund from his past podcast right now, like it is very liquid.
Yeah.
Like
you're cashing out.
You've got like multiple. You really did it right because you've got like multiple podcasts, like multiple subsidicaries coming into your head.
Yeah, diversified. The portfolio.
I'm on the sixth house right now. You know,
Z Cannon recently got bought by BlackRock. Is that correct?
You know, I'm just balling, so I don't even know who the fuck BlackRock is, but
they own everything.
But they can take whatever. You know, we did our thing with it.
I'm excited for Conan. It should be fun.
I'm excited for Conan. I mean, he's Conan's like one of the best of my lifetime, and his pod right now is like firing. Like every app that I listen to is just like hysterical. He's also just a great interviewer.
Yeah.
Period. So
the energy, the kind of the manic energy, like the energy he brought to his Hot Ones episode. Yes. If he just does that at the Oscars,
that's the thing. It's a one-time thing, and so he's gonna be able to go crazy with it. Really, the times that his late night show stumbled were in like the day-to-day boringness of it. Sometimes it felt like he wasn't bringing the heat. Which I can't fucking blame him. Really, none of them do because it's an insane job to have. But I think he's gonna go manic mode, and it's gonna be more like when he did like the White House Correspondents' Dinner or whatever.
Yeah,
where he's like just absolutely flaming.
I do think that like going to what you said is just such an inspired choice, and it's like it's so perfect because I think that the Oscars are at their best when they get like a true comedian, when they get a Billy Crystal to come in there, when they get even Jimmy Kimmel is like a good
James
host.
Franco.
What sucks is when they try and go the star route. Like that's why it's just like whenever they get stars, it doesn't work. And Conan is having such a moment this year, specifically with the Hot Ones one, with like Gen Z and millennials just really embracing the podcast and like his general online presence. Because hey, podcasts are more relevant now than having a late night TV show.
Absolutely.
So it's just a great choice, and I really love it.
Yeah, I mean he was easily the best like late night host of them all, and like the pivot that he's done to like stay relevant but also just like true to himself, because it even felt like it was obviously devastating when he lost the Tonight Show, but like the pivot to Conan on TBS, he could do whatever he wanted, and he made it his own thing.
It's the best thing that could have happened.
And same thing with like ending Conan and going on the podcast format. He made it his own thing. And now with this, it's like, I just fully
Yeah, maybe he'll be like the new Billy Crystal. Who knows?
I would not be surprised because he is just so damn good. And I'm honestly surprised they never got back Billy Crystal.
Well, it's one that, I
He's
mean,
old
apparently,
Yeah, but
apparently from what I was like reading online whenever it's happened, Conan's people have been trying to get him the gig for like
oh really?
a long time.
What the
And they
hell?
just weren't ever like answering the calls. Probably because they didn't think that he had the same clout as a Jimmy Kimmel, because they're like, well, he's not on TV anymore. But like, I don't know. For me personally, and like my family weren't huge like late night people growing up. I kind of discovered late night more in like high school on my own. Conan was like my introduction to late night. I was a TBS kid. I was watching Kings of Queens and I was like, oh sweet, who's this Conan O'Brien guy? And like that was just a thing that our whole generation, I think, feels that way about Conan. Like it was an introduction to that whole side of television.
Yeah, I remember like watching like Letterman like when I was like 12 and like 13, and then like
We really got the back end of that guy. He was the one who like changed everything for television in general.
He was
And
already
then
checked
by the time
out.
we're kids,
Letterman,
he was so checked out.
he was so cooked. Yeah, no, and then I mean, but like the early is, I mean, Conan was a great show. I mean, I didn't watch every single episode, but every
was a good
episode that I
time.
saw was like fantastic, and especially like the early days where it really felt like radical.
Mhm.
Like it really felt like anything could happen any episode.
Yeah,
every guest was great.
Yeah, I mean, Team Coco has been very good with having a good YouTube presence because the 90s show, the late night show had, you know, it had an insane writing staff. Like it had like Robert Smigel on it. I'm pretty sure Louis was on there at some point. It was a bunch of SNL writers that just like moved one floor down
Just the dream
to
team.
write for him. Yeah, so Crazy Bits. He rocks. I'm happy for him.
Does this mean that we're like one step away from Craig Ferguson hosting the
Yo,
BAFTAs
I,
or something? Or
That's
is that-
another guy that I loved his show.
I was obsessed with Craig Ferguson.
Yeah,
I read his autobiography when I was 14.
as one does.